In my last video, we covered trust, self-awareness, and communication, all three being essential to decent leadership. In this video, we're going to cover three more leadership essentials, which will prevent burnout, foster great relationships, and bring you true peace of mind. Before we get stuck in though, click the subscribe button below to ensure you get more of my videos. Okay, so the first of my three essentials will allow you to really connect with whoever you happen to be with. It works in person and online. You likely think you already do it, but in truth, very few people know how, or rather they think they know how, but in practice, they are doing something else. What's this mysterious activity called? It's called listening. The reason most of us don't do it is because we're too busy doing other stuff, thinking what to say next, trying not to forget an important point we want to make, waiting for the other person to shut up so we can have our say, or wondering if that email's arrived yet. You get the picture. And while all this is going on, we are doing everything but listening. So how do you listen? To really nail listening, you need to understand a few key points about how our minds work. Firstly, listening is not a passive, dumb activity. It's actually far more intelligent than speaking. That's because we generally only ever say something we already know. Listening opens us up to new things that we don't know. The next thing is that all that thinking that's going on in parallel is perfectly normal. No need to criticize it, but no need to go with it either. The third thing to know about your mind is that it's not you that's doing the thinking. Seriously? Yes. Then who is doing the thinking? Well, think of it this way. Your liver cleans your blood. You don't. Your lungs absorb oxygen. You don't. Your brain thinks. You don't. Your brain is just another organ whose function is to think, amongst many other things. You don't have to get involved. All you have to do is leave it alone. So what do? The only thing we can do, which is to pay attention and keep our attention directed to where we want it. In listening, this means immersing ourselves in the other person's voice. Your mind will do the rest. You just make sure that every time you get distracted by a thought, you come straight back to the listening. If you've ever meditated, it's the same process. Every time you realize that your attention is not on your breath or mantra or whatever, you gently and easily come back to it. When you do this, whoever you're listening to will pick up that you are totally connected to them. It's very powerful, and there's no need for any so-called active listening, which can involve some rather dodgy practices like mirroring, paraphrasing, and verbal and non-verbal cues, all of which are, in essence, inauthentic and contrived. If you want to take this deeper, focus not on what the other person's saying, but rather on the sound of their voice. This will open up extra depths of meaning, subtlety and nuance. Listen to the silence in between the words as well. You can also do this very effectively to your own voice when you're speaking. Once you learn to trust the process, you can focus on the sound and your mind will figure out what to say. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? But it works. The next essential will allow you to optimize your work-life balance, even though there's no such thing. It will help you sleep better, mitigate stress, avoid burnout, and just feel better all round. You'll like this one. It's called rest. Now, if you're a mum of three leading a business or a team and running a household too, you may well want to scoff at this point. But hear me out. It's not about doing less. It's about being more. First, let's debunk the work-life balance myth. Work is part of life. Everything is. The real balance to be had is between work and rest. Because when it's out of balance, the doing drowns out the being, and that's when the trouble begins. So the very first thing to do, before we start consciously resting, is to recognize when one activity ends and another begins. That's easy and obvious, I hear you say. Okay, so when was the last time you dragged the energy of one meeting into the next one, back to back? When was the last time you got home and continued to play the CEO with your family? Have you ever driven your car aggressively because of frustration at work? These things happen because we don't allow one thing to finish before another starts. We don't respect the natural pause between the two. Imagine a piece of music with no gap between any of the notes. It would be a cacophonous mess, which is exactly what our lives can become if we don't observe the natural pauses between activities. So how do we do it? Very simply, through an inner acknowledgement that something has to come to an end and a brief but conscious pause before embarking on the next activity. You can do this very effectively by sitting still, closing your eyes and taking 3 long, deep breaths with your focus fully on your breathing. That rest is a reconnection with being and will work wonders in maintaining balance. If you can't close your eyes, no worries. Do the same with your eyes open. The ultimate expression of this kind of rest is meditation, perhaps the most powerful way to accelerate your personal evolution. If you'd like guidance on this, drop me a line and I'll send you some material. In essence, meditation is time spent being rather than doing, and provides the most powerful immunity to the noise, stress, and overwhelm of modern life. However, contrary to popular opinion, it is not best used as a palliative or a relief. Meditating because you're feeling stressed can be counterproductive. The meditation may well show you just how stressed you really are. Far better to practice when you're calm, clear, and relaxed. The third leadership essential will ensure you act with authenticity, which means literally to act on your own authority. This is in stark contrast to being swayed by what others may think or how others will perceive you. It's the key to being true to yourself, and it's called integrity. It has nothing to do with honesty, although honesty is often the best policy, but by no means always. Integrity has nothing to do with bringing your whole self to work either. Much of our so-called whole or authentic self is just ego that we've become attached to and is no more than an item of clothing or a piece of jewellery. Integrity is all about connecting with your innermost being that will provide you with the right guidance for any situation if you're prepared to listen beyond the noise of overthinking, anxiety, and self-doubt. Getting in touch with yourself in this way is the supreme goal of life and makes you whole or complete, which is the true meaning of integrity. Leaders with integrity don't follow the crowd. Of course, they listen to others, but then to themselves. They realize that real morality comes from within in the moment, not from some code of ethics created by committee. Integrity means accepting yourself as you are and, crucially, others as they are. It means you don't try to change others and you don't criminalize them in your mind because of their behavior. If their behavior is not aligned with what you need for your team, you give them a choice, but never try to change anyone else through compulsion. You can probably see how these 3 essentials support each other. Integrity means listening deeply to others and yourself. Listening is the basis of your connection with others, and a meditation practice informs the art of listening and is the foundation of integrity. If you found this video useful, click on the thumbs up below and subscribe to my channel for more. Thanks for listening and see you in the next video.